What if I told you that a single reply to a tweet could change your entire life? Sounds ridiculous, right? But for one guy, that's exactly what happened. One comment, one moment, and suddenly, he was pulled into something bigger than he could have ever imagined. But before we dive in, take a second. If you love incredible real-life stories that leave you speechless, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Jason Carter was just an ordinary guy, 23 years old, working long shifts at a fast food joint, barely making enough to scrape by. Bills stacked up, and dreams of doing something meaningful with his life felt like a distant fantasy. But one night, after an exhausting shift, he scrolled mindlessly through Twitter. That's when he saw it. A simple post from Mr. Beast. Reply with your favorite number. Trust me. No context, no details, just that. Jason hesitated for a moment before typing 7. His lucky number. Then he forgot about it, never expecting anything to come of it. Until the DM arrived. Congratulations, you've been selected for a private challenge. Be ready at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. No name. No explanation. Just those words staring back at him. His heart raced. Was this real? Was someone messing with him? Jason wasn't the type to get lucky. But something about this felt different. The next morning, curiosity won. He followed the instructions, arriving at an abandoned warehouse just outside town. The place was silent, except for the faint hum of a generator somewhere inside. A single door stood slightly open. Jason took a deep breath and stepped in. Inside, the space was nearly empty, except for a plain wooden table in the center. On it, a single envelope. His name was written on the front. Hands slightly shaking, he tore it open. Inside was a crisp, black credit card and a note. You have 24 hours to spend $10,000 in the most meaningful way possible. The real challenge begins after that. His mind spun. $10,000. Just like that? No instructions, no rules, just a single line. He looked around, half expecting cameras, but the warehouse remained eerily silent. The only thing he knew for sure was that someone was watching, and they were waiting for him to make a decision. Jason stepped outside, the card burning in his pocket. His first instinct. He could finally breathe. Pay off rent, maybe get a new car, finally fix that broken laptop. But then, doubt crept in. Something about the note nagged at him. The most meaningful way possible. This wasn't just free money. It was a test. So he did something unexpected. He walked straight past his apartment and headed downtown. By sunset, Jason had spent every last dollar. He bought hot meals for homeless families, covered an elderly woman's medical bills, donated supplies to a struggling school. Strangers cried, hugged him, thanked him. For the first time in his life, he felt like he was part of something bigger. But had he made the right choice? The next morning, his phone buzzed with another message. Come back. Now. His heart pounded as he returned to the warehouse. This time, the room wasn't empty. Sitting in a chair, arms crossed, watching him with a small smile, was Mr. Beast. Jason froze. His heart pounded as he returned to the warehouse. This time, the room wasn't empty. Sitting in a chair, arms crossed, watching him with a small smile, was Mr. Beast. Jason froze. You made an interesting choice, Mr. Beast said, nodding toward a screen mounted on the wall. Footage played. Jason handing food to the homeless, comforting a child in the hospital, paying for a woman's groceries. It had all been recorded. Every moment. Mr. Beast leaned forward. Now here's the real challenge. A new envelope slid across the table. Jason opened it, hands trembling. Inside, 2 simple options. Option 1. Walk away with $100,000. Option 2. Join the Mr. Beast team and help change lives every single day. Jason swallowed hard. $100,000 could wipe away all his problems. But then he thought about the past 24 hours. The feeling of making a real impact. The look on those people's faces. He looked up. I want to do more. Mr. Beast grinned. Welcome to the team. Jason had no idea that one random reply on Twitter would change his life forever. But here's the real question. What would you have done? Take the money or take the mission? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you're subscribed, because trust me, this is just the beginning. Jason barely had time to process what had just happened. 1 minute, he was an ordinary guy struggling to pay rent, and the next, he had a life-changing choice in front of him. $100,000. More money than he had ever seen in his life, or the chance to work alongside Mr. Beast and be part of something truly incredible. Would you have hesitated? Would you have taken the money and walked away? Or would you have risked it all for something bigger? Jason's mind raced. He imagined what that kind of money could do. Pay off his debt, get a new apartment, maybe even take a vacation for the first time in years. But then, he thought about the people he had helped in the last 24 hours. The mother who cried when he covered her rent. The little girl in the hospital who hugged him after he donated toys. The man who whispered, I thought people like you didn't exist anymore. Something inside him shifted. I don't want the money, Jason said, his voice firm. I want to be part of this. For a moment, there was silence. Then Mr. Beast grinned. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. And just like that, Jason's life changed forever. The next few weeks were a blur. He packed up his tiny apartment, said goodbye to his old job, and flew out to North Carolina to join the Mr. Beast team. Everything felt surreal. The first time he walked into the production house, he couldn't believe his eyes. Rooms filled with whiteboards covered in crazy ideas, stacks of cash for upcoming giveaways, shelves lined with trophies from record-breaking videos. This wasn't just a YouTube channel, it was a movement. His first task, to help brainstorm a new challenge. He sat at a long table surrounded by some of the most creative minds he had ever met. Everyone threw out wild ideas, last to leave a Ferris wheel, surviving 24 hours in a haunted house, giving away an entire supermarket. Jason was in awe. But then, Mr. Beast turned to him. What about you, Jason? Any ideas? His heart pounded. He was the new guy. What could he possibly contribute? But then, he remembered something. Something personal. What if, he said slowly, we gave back to people who help others every day? Like teachers, nurses, firefighters. People who never ask for anything in return. The room went silent for a beat. Then smiles. Nods. Mr. Beast snapped his fingers. I love it. Let's make it happen. Within days, they were on location, setting up for one of the most emotional giveaways in the channel's history. Jason watched in amazement as hidden cameras were placed, scripts were finalized, and a team worked around the clock to bring the vision to life. The plan was simple. Surprise everyday heroes with life-changing rewards. The first stop was a small elementary school. Jason walked in, posing as a camera assistant. A teacher, Miss Carter, had been nominated by her students. She had been using her own money to buy school supplies for years. That day, she expected a routine interview about education. Instead, she was handed a check for $50,000. She broke down in tears. Are you serious? This is going to change so many lives. Jason felt his own eyes burn. He had never experienced anything like this before. The impact. The raw emotion. This wasn't just a job. It was a purpose. The day continued. Firefighters gifted with a brand new fire truck. A nurse given enough money to pay off her student loans. A single dad surprised with a brand new house. And through it all, Jason realized something. This was what he had been searching for his entire life. By the end of the shoot, he was exhausted but exhilarated. As they packed up, Mr. Beast clapped a hand on his shoulder. Good job today, man. "You were made for this." Jason smiled. For the first time in a long time, he believed it. But this was just the beginning. The video went live the next week. Within hours, it racked up millions of views. The comments section exploded with people sharing their own stories, inspired by what they had seen. Donations poured in. More people wanted to help. The ripple effect had begun. And Jason, he was officially part of the team. No longer the guy struggling to get by. No longer just another person scrolling through social media, watching others live their dreams. He was living his own. Now, here's the question for you. If you were in Jason's shoes, what would you have done? Would you have taken the $100,000 and played it safe? Or would you have joined the team and taken a leap of faith? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more unbelievable stories like this, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, the next one is even crazier. Jason's life had flipped upside down in the best way possible. He had gone from barely making ends meet to being part of something far bigger than himself. Working with Mr. Beast wasn't just about making viral videos. It was about making a real impact, changing lives, and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But little did he know, his biggest challenge was yet to come. One afternoon, as the team wrapped up another shoot, Mr. Beast pulled Jason aside. "You've done great so far," he said, "but now it's time for something bigger. I want you to lead the next challenge." Jason blinked. Mr. Beast nodded. "You've got the heart for this. Let's see if you've got the vision." The idea was simple, yet massive. They were going to give away an entire apartment to a deserving family. But there was a twist. The person receiving the home wouldn't know it was coming. They would think they were competing in a small challenge for a chance to win something minor. Instead, they were about to get the surprise of a lifetime. Jason spent the next week planning every detail. He found the perfect candidate. A single mom named Teresa who had been living out of her car with her 2 kids after losing her job. She had no idea that she was about to walk into the moment that would change everything. The day of the challenge, Teresa and several other participants arrived at what they thought was just another Mr. Beast event. The challenge? A simple scavenger hunt. Jason guided them through a series of fun tasks, finding a hidden object, answering trivia questions, and completing mini-games. Teresa played along, laughing, completely unaware of what was waiting for her at the finish line. Finally, the moment arrived. Jason handed her a final clue, which led to a set of keys inside a small box. Confused, she looked around. "What is this for?" she asked, holding up the keys. Jason took a deep breath. "Teresa, this isn't just a game. These keys, they're for your new home." The world seemed to stop. Silence. Then, disbelief. "What?" she whispered, shaking her head. Jason smiled. "Follow me." He led her outside, where a moving truck was parked, filled with brand new furniture and boxes labeled with her name. Just down the street stood a beautiful apartment, freshly furnished and ready for her and her kids to move in that very night. Tears welled in Teresa's eyes. Her hands trembled. This can't be real. But it was. And when her kids ran up to her, realizing what was happening, the floodgates opened. She fell to her knees, hugging them tightly, sobbing tears of pure joy. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Jason, he felt something he could never put into words. For the first time, he wasn't just part of a giveaway, he was leading one, and the feeling was indescribable. The video went live a week later. Within 24 hours, it had tens of millions of views. The internet was in shock. Comments flooded in from people saying they had never cried so much watching a YouTube video. Donations poured in to help other struggling families. And Jason realized something profound. This wasn't just a career. It was a calling. But let's turn this to you. If you had the power to change someone's life, would you do it? Even if it meant stepping out of your comfort zone, taking a risk, or giving up something valuable. Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, the next one is even wilder. Jason had just pulled off his first major giveaway, and the feeling was electric. He had changed a family's life forever. But working with Mr. Beast meant there was no time to slow down. The next challenge was always bigger, crazier, and more ambitious. One morning, Jason walked into the office to find Mr. Beast grinning. "Hope you're ready," he said, tossing Jason a folder. "You're running this one solo." Jason opened the folder. Inside was a simple phrase: change a stranger's life in 24 hours. That was it. No rules, no budget limit, just pure creativity. His mind raced. He could buy someone a car, pay off their medical bills, or give away stacks of cash. But he wanted something deeper. He wanted to create a moment that would never be forgotten. That's how he found Daniel, a retired veteran working double shifts at a gas station just to stay afloat. At 62, he should have been enjoying life, but instead, he was barely scraping by. Jason watched as Daniel helped every customer with kindness, never complaining, never asking for anything in return. Jason approached him with a simple question: "If you could have anything right now, what would it be?" Daniel chuckled. "A day off and a good meal would be nice." Jason smiled. "How about something better?" Over the next 24 hours, Jason completely transformed Daniel's life. He paid off his debts, renovated his small apartment, and set up a fund to secure his future. Then, for the grand final, Jason handed him the keys to a brand new car. Daniel stood frozen, eyes wide. This can't be real. But it was, and as tears filled his eyes, Jason knew he had done exactly what he set out to do. The video dropped, and the internet exploded. Millions of people were inspired. Thousands shared their own stories, and donations poured in for other veterans in need. Jason had gone from being a struggling fast food worker to someone who changed lives. And he wasn't stopping now. Now, here's the real question. If you had 24 hours and unlimited resources, how would you change someone's life? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you want to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe, because trust me, the next story is even crazier. Jason's journey had been unbelievable, but the biggest challenge was yet to come. Mr. Beast pulled him aside one morning with a grin. "Ready for the ultimate test?" he asked. A single envelope slid across the table. Inside, a single instruction: find someone who deserves the biggest surprise of their life. No rules, no limits, just a mission to change a life. Jason spent hours searching, scrolling through stories, visiting shelters, and talking to strangers. Then, he met Maria, a mother of 3, working 2 jobs while sleeping in her car just to keep her kids fed. Despite everything, she smiled. She never gave up. That's when Jason knew she was the one. The plan unfolded fast. A fake job interview set the stage. Maria arrived, dressed in her best, hoping for a chance. But instead of questions, Jason handed her an envelope. Inside, a lease to a fully furnished home, stocked with everything her family needed. Her hands shook as she read it. This isn't real," she whispered. Then Jason pulled out one more gift: a check covering her kids' education for years to come. Maria broke down, sobbing as her children ran into her arms. The moment was pure, raw, unforgettable. And when the video dropped, the internet erupted. Millions watched, donations poured in, and Maria's story sparked a movement. So now, I ask you, if you had the power to change one life, who would it be? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to see more moments like this, hit subscribe, because the next one, it's even bigger. Jason had already changed lives, but now, Mr. Beast had something even bigger in store. One morning, he walked into the office to find a single note waiting for him. Create the most unforgettable giveaway yet. No instructions, no budget, just the freedom to make history. The pressure was on. Jason knew it had to be more than just giving away money. It had to mean something. That's when he met Eli, a 19-year-old working nonstop to support his younger siblings after their parents passed away. No complaints, no excuses, just pure determination. Eli wasn't thinking about himself. He was fighting to keep his family together. Jason knew this was it. The plan was simple but life-changing. They staged a fake grocery store giveaway, where Eli thought he had 60 seconds to grab whatever he could for free. What he didn't know, everything in the store, every single item, was already his. As the timer hit 0, Jason handed Eli a folder. Inside were the real prizes, a fully paid house, a college fund for his siblings, and a job offer that would change everything. Eli froze. His hands shook. "This can't be real," he whispered. But it was. The internet exploded. Millions watched in awe as Eli's world flipped overnight. The story spread beyond YouTube, inspiring people worldwide to step up and help those around them. It wasn't just a giveaway, it was a movement. So, here's the real question. If you had the chance to create your own ultimate giveaway, what would it be? Drop your ideas in the comments. And if you want to see what's coming next, hit subscribe, because trust me, we're just getting started. Jason had pulled off some incredible giveaways, but this one had to be unforgettable. Mr. Beast gave him full creative control. No limits, no restrictions, just one mission. End things with a bang. After weeks of planning, it was time. They staged a small competition, inviting random people to play a simple game. Last one standing wins. No one knew what they were actually competing for. The final contestant was Marcus, a father of 4 who had been struggling to make ends meet. He thought he was playing for a small cash prize. Instead, Jason walked over and handed him an envelope. Inside, the deed to a brand new home, fully paid off, along with a check to secure his kid's future. Marcus froze. Then he dropped to his knees, covering his face as the reality hit. Tears, shock, pure, overwhelming joy. The crowd erupted. Jason felt it, too. This wasn't just a giveaway. It was a second chance. The video went viral instantly. Millions watched, thousands commented. But more importantly, people were inspired to help in their own way. It wasn't just about money. It was about kindness, about proving that one act can change everything. And now, it's your turn. If you had the power to change one life, how would you do it? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you're ready for what's next, make sure you're subscribed, because trust me, we're only getting started.